All right. Hey, everybody. It's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would sit down and do a live for you guys and gals. Got the veins on point. Quick reminder for those of you who see this after the fact, if you chime in, leave some comments in the comment section under the video and click the like and everything once you start watching this video and you hear this. It will always help me get it out there further. Those engagements pay off. So see who all we get in here tonight. But the topic I'm going to cover briefly before we jump into everyone's questions are going to be I'm increasing the volume. I'm going to start working the volume up more and more now that I'm doing Conjugate again. I'm going to take the cardio out other than the weekends. I think an hour twice a week of my weight vest walks is sufficient just for overall health, metabolic benefits. And this will let me do more actual higher volume training, right? Do higher volume training on my Conjugate, because a lot of what we want to do with the Conjugate method, and people forget that because they didn't look at what Louis and other people at Westside did with a lot of this stuff, is they're doing tons and tons of high rep volume on smaller movements oftentimes. So yes, you have your main assistant stuff. You have those things, but then when you really start looking, so like you take what I did today, yeah, we did the max effort stuff. We obviously did some sets of 10 on dips, seal rows, and tricep extensions. But then notice you start doing all this 12 plus rep stuff with dumbbells. I did dumbbells for chest, dumbbells for upper back, right? We did some front raises for 12s, and I did a bunch of 20 to 50 rep sets of band press downs, like 7 sets. So when you really start getting into this sort of system, this is what you're supposed to do. And people forget that. You're actually not coming in doing tons and tons of heavy work. You're maxing twice a week, maybe one heavy supplemental lift on max effort day. Everything else is like 8 plus reps to where you're then coming in and building all the muscles up, doing all the other supplemental work, whether it's various dips or extra closed grip pressing or floor presses or whatever, good mornings, right? All these other things, different types of pulls. This is the stuff that you do. But then when you start getting into all the really high metabolic work, all the restoration work, stuff like that can turn into hundreds and hundreds of reps, right? So you start getting into the reverse hypers, you start getting into the band work, right? You are coming in and doing 20 plus rep sets on a lot of this stuff. And so for me to accommodate that, that's what I'm going to do. And yes, you get bigger and bigger and bigger from doing this, right? So this is how I trained even when I've hit some of the biggest lifts. You guys have looked, remember, and I've hit like 600 on a camber bar. You see me hit a 635 deadlift, a 625 deficit deadlift, 350, and then 365 on a flat back closed grip bench. Those sort of things. Right? That's a lot of what I was doing. And it turns into very, very high volumes of the high rep stuff. So you start almost looking at it. And when you really look at the Conjugate system, when you start factoring in all that small work, you're like, wow, this is tons of really high rep volume, right? It's tons of really high rep volume. Also, there's 3 of you commenting, only 2 likes. Click that like button for Daddy. Come on now. There's 4 people actually commenting. Let's get that like button, hit some likes. Let's get people in here. And let's get over and let's talk a little bit more about training. Hey, Jeff, I don't care that you're jerking, Brian. Hey, man, whatever you need to do, home skillet. Old School says, I have the Lid Classic Louis Simmons BPVHS tape, a classic. George Halbert was ahead of his time. I don't think I've actually seen that one. How did we lose a like? We got another like. Hit that like button. Come on. Hit that like button for Daddy. Come on, ring my bell. Do you think that muscle confusion from constant program changes bring benefits or just raise injury risk from maladaptation? Well, it doesn't raise injury risk. But what are you defining necessarily as muscle confusion doesn't work? But when we are talking about stuff like simply creating metabolic fatigue, yeah, you can change the lifts for that. It doesn't matter. You're going to want to have some basic stuff, though, that you do pursue progression on no matter what. The issue with too much of that is if you don't know if you're progressing on stuff because you're not keeping up with the lifts. So, Alan, the thing is, if you're rotating a lot of lifts in and out, you do need to know where you were previously, right? You need to know where you were. But no, you're not at a higher risk of injury. You're not going to have injuries from that. I mean, even Louis used to say that the trick to making constant progress is to never adapt, right? Do you think that we'll get over it. Have you hit any new PRs such as sets or reps, like PRs versus when I was bigger and heavier? Or have I just hit PRs this year? Sure. I mean, I got a dip PR today. I got a rep PR on dips. I've got rep PRs on seal rows in the last couple of weeks. Okay. So stuff like that, sure. Since I've added dips back in, I've actually been hitting small PRs every week. I'm just trying to work that workload up. I've got the seal rows hitting PRs. So those are somewhat important lifts for me. But what I'm going to do is try to start tracking PRs at this lighter body weight on the max effort work. Okay. Because I don't want to count what I was lifting 25 pounds heavier several years ago. But I want to try to start working up to reaching some of those old numbers now. And that's going to take a little bit. PRs are tough when you get to be an old master. Yeah, exactly, bro. But it starts to get to a point to where I go, so what if I could replicate my lifetime best at a lighter body weight at this age now? I would count that as PRs. Older age class, lighter body weight. If I could even replicate the best lifts I've hit in my life ever, again, at this point, it would be an enormous success. Be an enormous success. I mean, I want to just get to a 550 back squat again. I'd love to be pulling in the 600s again. I'd love to hit a 405 bench, so that's going to be hard. No, Tyrone. I'm pretty far off on the bench at the moment. I've already said I want a 375 bench this year. I've switched back over to closed grip. It's like at 320 now and going up since I went back to closed grip, but I've hit it at 365. So no, I want a 375 bench this year, and I'm going to need to do it closed grip since I'm going to closed grip bench. But we got 365 like 3 years ago. So I think I can get back up to it and then try to get to that. But again, older, lighter, leaner, and hit those numbers is the idea. I find grip and wrist training goes pretty well. Yep. I think you can pull off the 550. It's going to be tough. I mean, it's doable, but I'm going to have to put in some real work for that. Honestly, I'm going to have to put in a lot of work for that. Just focus on eating and growing. Yeah, I'm not going to be eating. I'm not going to be gaining weight though, bro. But yeah, so honestly, the 550 squat may be the easiest out of those goals to hit. I mean, I got 500 a few months ago, like 3 months ago. I did 550 on a box. Sorry, 505 on a box. So I need to get back to that now that I'm box squatting, start pushing those up. But I think the speed work's going to help a lot. All the extra quad hypertrophy will help too. And therein lay the idea. I'm going to have a bunch of client stuff popping up through here. All right. I remember when you hit that 600 cambered bar squat. Sorry, got client messages literally blocking the things I'm reading. The only implemented good mornings. I still can't read it because it keeps popping up. The only implemented good mornings and nothing else. No, I mean, I did machine work for my quads and stuff. I was doing belt squats and things. Right. But the good mornings make all the difference. No, I'm not running multiple monitors. The problem is it's still going to pop up the way I have my setups because my client messages are kind of, I need to see those all the time, no matter what I'm doing. Only thing is that they do pop up right literally, and there's no way to move the messages. Right? There's no way to my knowledge to move the messages other than to have them literally right where new comments appear. So if your comment is at the bottom of the screen and where there's not 3 other comments under it, any new client messages that pop up to me literally appear right there. And I can't change where it's at. But I'm not running multiple monitors. All right. Do you need belt squat at 140 kilos for 12 years squatting at 600? Yeah, I'm getting really deeper on it though now with what I'm doing. So a little bit different. I don't think it was at 140 kg. How many plates was I doing? And I think I was not quite getting depth on it. So I think it was 7 plates. So 315 pounds. Yeah, it was in that range. It was in that range. It's hard to carry over with the machine though, because that arm is really, really heavy, by the way. Jason, do you have any tips for guys like myself who are emotionally attached to our lifts? Conjugate is great for guys emotionally attached to their lifts because you don't get to do them. And then you're just hitting random lifts. Robbie says, just at a 315 bench a day after 5 years of training, your videos have helped a lot on the way. So thanks a lot. Hey, dude, Robbie, you got a 315 bench at 5 years of training. That is solid. Like, everyone make a note of that right there. Robbie, you should upload a video, and I'm not saying to call you out. I'm saying it because that's really good. To do that in 5 years is legitimately impressive. I like pistol squats while holding a kettlebell. I don't. Yeah, plus the machine pulls you forward. No. Once you learn to set it up, it doesn't pull you forward. Yeah, but I'm 6'2", 260 pounds. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. But still, 315 bench. How many guys is that's like a lifetime goal, right? What's the heaviest triple you've ever done on bench press, regardless of weight and age? I can't remember in my 20s, Tyrone. So let's go with only what we've recorded. So Tyrone, how about we stick purely with what we've recorded on camera here on YouTube in the last 12 to 13 years? Is that fair? So let's not go back to pre-camera history of me trying to remember, and then people say it's not true because no camera. I have benched on camera 345 for a triple with a pause in my 40s on this channel. 350 is an exceptional bench in today's oversaturated social media age. People forget that. Exactly, Rollins. So it's like when people try to call me out and they're like, oh, you ever hit up whatever 3 reps or 4 reps or a 3x3 with 315 pause, a couple months back. In my late 40s, come on, guys. If we weren't in today's oversaturated social media, people would think that it was fake, right? You and I are probably old enough to recognize that. People will call it out as fake. They're like, well, this old guy didn't do that. Jason, I'm 6'4" and low 240s and doing rep work on chins with 70 pounds and dips with 140s, 100 plus on chins and dips. Possibly. Doing rep work for chins. I mean, you're going to have to keep working at it, but is it within reach potentially for you? I would say if you can keep getting better, keep working and not get hurt, then yes. Joe says, I bit 315 at 19. Now I'm 22, but stalking around 350 as of late, stuck around 350. Yeah, you just got to gain more muscle, bro. You know what, Joe? You're 22, right? You're hitting 350 at 22. You were talking about cutting down earlier. Cut down, like you said, get leaner, get that look, and then build it back up. You'll end up hitting eventually 365, lighter and leaner than you are now. So just keep putting in the work, right? Keep putting in that work, and you're going to get there. I mean, you always remember that when guys worry about stuff like that, they're like, I'm stuck or whatever. You're 22 years old, dude. You're 22 years old hitting past 3 plates. You're not stuck. You're going to bench 405 one day. Just keep going, right? Is a 335 squat while weighing 160 average? I don't even know how to answer that. Keep working. Why are you weighing 160 though? I mean, it's decent. You got a base. Keep gaining muscle. Janoy, what do you mean you're taking courses from an alpha male coach? Oh my God. No, this is not a gay chat, Alex. Just because I have an OnlyFans doesn't mean it's a gay chat. I might need to put you in timeout. Again, you guys can go follow my OnlyFans. You don't need to bring all of it here. I'm going to probably stick to that. We're going to keep it that way. You guys are aware I have one, but this is not my OnlyFans. If you want to say things like that, you have to go there. Fair. This is for my strength and conditioning info. That's great, Pat. Now you've just done a great venture at 465. Yeah, at 181. That's crazy good. You have a long time to develop. Yeah, he's talking to you, Joe. You have a long time to develop your strength. It's not like other sports where you peak young. Alex, do you not see the name of the channel? This is called Jason Blaha's Strength and Fitness. You see all my lifting here? Right. No, it's not throwing the new. Hey, Alan, it's not. It's either trolls. It's just trolls coming in. It's my regular same trolls you normally see, most likely. It's only. Hey, Janoy, you don't listen to. Yeah, we need to just put Alex into timeout for a bit. Hey, Janoy, I gave you all that advice and you tell me that nonsense. You're basically trolling. Why are you trolling like that? You get to go and I'm not going to put you in timeout yet. Hey, Bender. Yeah, that's not going to go too well for him. Dating coaches are the ultimate grifters, right? Do you think strength peaks at a certain age when you factor out injury? A lot of the top strongman athletes didn't really seem to be in their peak until years 3+. What do you mean 30+? Well, yeah, because it takes that long. Imagine the ridiculousness of people physically threatening an old man, a 48-year-old middle-aged dude who is strapped all the time. Like, that's stupidity, Bender. Yeah, usually mid to late 30s is usually right around mid 30s where they peak. And for people who don't understand that, look at their separate submasters records, and they tend to usually be a little lower. Is broccoli a good source of vitamin A? You can go to Chronometer and check. I don't necessarily think so. Why are you checking Google when you could go to Chronometer or any of the databases that have measured it? Right, based off the USDA Food Lab and stuff. Hey, Janoy, all of our life impacts our personality. Anything that happens during your childhood will impact your personality. Jason, are you stoked to? What are you asking me? Yeah. So usually by around 40, you usually see some stuff going down. It's going to be hard. If you train really hard when younger, it's going to be harder. There's free logins for Chronometer if you're just looking for data. Hey, Tyrone, you need to know the local laws where you live. No, you don't need to be careful. You need to know the laws inside and out. If you're going to carry, you need to know the laws where you live inside and out, up to and including what to say to the police if something occurs. If you do have to fight, you need to have a game plan and know how to talk to the police afterwards, all the way up to that. Okay, makes sense? You should probably go take some classes. Jay, that sounds about right. This guy's like, I can't even say how this name seems to be at his top until they started getting 40, then slowly started declining. Yeah. When's the last time you utilized a Z-Press? Never. I might have to schedule a consultation for program advice. Really never ran a true program, basically relied on. Yeah, Joe, I do them all the time, bro. Hit me up. Yeah, Jay, as Jay said to you, Tyrone, it's incredibly different depending on the state you live in. I don't care about the outskirts of Texas. Did it happen in Texas or outside of Texas? Then it's irrelevant. So did he know the laws? You can't just say someone pulled out like that's. You need to be extremely specific. I need a 2-page explanation, or I can't tell you what happened. So you can leave it at that. Hey, Janoy, I'm not going to do coaching per se, but if you need a consultation, consultations are $100. I can give you some advice on all this stuff. Here's the thing, though, guys. There's like 10 people commenting, and there's only 4 likes. Hit that like button for Daddy. Come on. We need to get that like up to about 10. There's that many of you talking right here. So there's enough people to get that up to 10 who are literally asking questions. So hit that like button for Daddy. Till we get to 10 likes, I'm probably not going to talk about anything but the like button. Come on now, hit that like button for Daddy. We're up to 7, 9. Come on, there we go, baby. Press my button. Ring my bell. Come on now. One more. We got to get to 10. Hit that like button. There we go. Beautiful. Man, that worked. I climb trees for a living. I don't train that much with 2 herniated discs. 2 years ago, I weighed 265. I hit my body weight for 17 on bench. I'm doing body weight squats daily too. With those herniated discs, have you thought about getting access to a reverse hyperextension? Hey, Tyrone, no, because you need to give me a full detailed write-up. You need to know when you can and can't brandish. Now, if you're on your own property, you can brandish pretty much at will, straight up. He was out in public. You can't just pull your piece out. No, even in Texas. You have to have a legitimate legal reason to unholster, or you're probably going to get slapped with a Class A. Actually, you may get shot. Yes, can I do the sexy daddy voice? There we go. What does the like button do? It's what makes those engagements are what make people see this in their feed so that more people come in here. Tool tells us I liked it. There you go. Chuck, what do you agree with? Yeah, so Tyrone, you need to pretty much know. So do you know how to deal with that situation? Yeah, Tyrone, that would end poorly for you. Bye-bye. I mean, look at all these people. If I saw you in person, I'd slap you in the mouth. Oh, Jesus Christ. People who hide their identity say this stuff. I mean, do you understand how big of a pussy you look like hiding behind fake names with no pictures talking about slapping other men? If I see you in public while you're wiping the Cheeto dust off your fingers, sitting there in your little fedora, jerking off to anime, never seen a woman in your life. Last woman you saw was your mom. Never even met a woman, right? Jason, I live in an area where tons of people carry. Yeah, and it amazed me when I see strangers get into intense arguments and altercations. Like, dude, that's a bad idea. I don't even raise my voice in public without a good reason. Is it just side on a pseudonym? What? I don't know. Robert says, "What's up, Coach?" Old school, as you said, armed society is a polite society. Exactly, guys. Absolutely. All right. That is how it works. Check my messages for a minute. We haven't seen you actually raise your voice ever, has it? I mean, I've raised it a little here, maybe. I'm not an angry person, though, honestly. Coach, can't remember if you said this, but when a client gets a cheat meal, do you tell them to try to fit it into their calories for the day? I mean, if you have a cheat meal, then go take a cheat meal. If you're serious about a cut, though, then why are you taking cheat meals? Now, if you're just recomping or something, that's different. Which doctor are you trolling me, dude? You're talking about someone who's mentally handicapped who I had to block. That's who you're talking about. Some people's one, like it's not dudes. You're talking about one person who people make fun of. Okay. Hey, Chuck, maybe you don't know what I actually believe as far as self-defense laws. I think I'm very well versed in them. What I think that you're not understanding, Chuck, is I actually have an extremely well documented set of stock use that I have filed so many police reports that it makes things extremely different. So you're talking about me personally? Yeah, it actually is pretty straightforward. Mainly because I have 10 years of documenting a cyber stalking ring making repeated threats with multiple law enforcement agencies. So yeah, I kind of do have, in a way, a get out of jail free card. With those people, not with, say, the average person. But Jay is also right. Jason, even without people being strapped, it's stupid as hell to get into that with a total stranger. I agree. You shouldn't be getting in altercations. I don't have specific recommendations on how often people should do cheat meals. I don't want to give you a general guideline and then steer you astray in the comments. How frequently you can get away with cheat meals is going to depend completely upon the person and what's going on in your situation. If you're serious about a cut, no cheat meals until you're actually lean. I agree there, Future. The reason I'm not doing it, I did one at Christmas. But even for me, I'm not lean enough to justify cheat meals right now. Hey, Janoy, I feel like you're pretty much just a troll at this point with this stuff. There was a guy from the gym that told me he cut off some guy at a red light, told him literally followed him home. Yeah, that's stupid. Old school, we can get into a lot of discussions of cheat meals and why people do them. Hey, Chuck, no, that's not actually true. Hey, Janoy, you're not looking out for me by advertising it. So what you're trying to do is direct people to look for it. So you're giving free advertisement to my haters. And you believe that this is helping me. There. Right. Yeah, Jay, I don't think Chuck is fully aware of what the different states have for laws, but that's not the purpose of this. You guys keep harping on this. I might need to just start banning people for that because it's not what my channel's about. So can we drop this? Did If It Fits Your Macros Diet? I'm hoping so. Coach, did you watch the cricket yesterday? No. Do you buy chicken thighs or chicken breast? It depends on what I'm doing with my diet. If I'm eating higher fat, lower carb, I'll do thighs or drumsticks, wings, whatever. If I'm doing a little bit lower fat, then I'll do breasts. So it depends on the context of what's going on with my diet at any given time. Old school's like, I prefer thighs. I'm a leg man. Okay. So let's see what all has Chuck got to say. I'm going to scroll up and see if Chuck has anything to say other than to admonish me for my gun stuff or to talk about hate video. Okay. So Chuck, you're basically a stalker. Bye. That's simple enough. I just realize you have no positive contributions other than to talk about my self-defense rights and talk about hater channels. So get out of here. You are one of them. Janoy, I mean, you're already suspect. So, I mean, the fact that you got the Janoy crest already tells me you probably do need psychiatric help. Just the name you're using alone. I mean, and I'm not being mean by saying that, but anyone who's obsessed with Jason Genova probably does need to talk to a therapist. Feel free to put your feet up on the desk with them puppies. You got to pay for the foot pictures, man. Again, Mafia, there you go. There's my links. You can go to my OnlyFans for that stuff. If you want foot pictures. Do you think college rushers take PEDs? Yes. No, most of my audience are not haters. Lots of people who come through here are literally clients or former clients. I'm going to say anyone who's paid me hundreds or thousands of dollars probably isn't a hater. Like a ton of people who come through here are clients or former clients. I mean, every day. There are people who come through these chats every day who've done consultations who pay me $100 an hour for this. So yeah, Chris, there's a lot of them because I recognize the names because the people always tell me their usernames and stuff too. But yeah, I mean, you're here for some laughs. But no, it's not mostly. There is that dedicated group of trolls though who always come through. Speaking of all of that, we got 44 people watching, only 12 likes. Get those likes up for Daddy. Come on now. Hit that like button. All of y'all in here. We got them up earlier. Let's get a few more likes. There we go. Come on. You need to hit that like button for Daddy. I made no synthol allegations. I don't think anybody uses synthol in 2025. Where did you get that idea? I think you didn't listen to anything I've ever said on the topic. Atomic, you did, but it didn't show yet. You might need to, oh, there we go. Okay, I think it's crazy. Kinderbar has been a big fitness user since 2010, yeah? Red 40 in that drink? I don't know, I don't care. Hey, Jason, just had a grocery run today inspired by your cart. I pick up a ton of chicken drumsticks. Just curious if you baked them. The ones I did this time, I put potassium, salt, paprika, and garlic on them. George, you mean testosterone. People don't use synthol anymore. They just shoot test right into the muscle instead of synthol. People use high doses now. They started doing this a long time ago. Synthol kind of was only a short-lived thing. People just use that much gear, so they need to put it somewhere, so they sight shoot it. Almost all pro bodybuilders do. I haven't heard from Louis Marco in years now. Is it just me, or did anybody look a bit downsized? He definitely got a little smaller. How's your day been, Daddy Coach? It's been all right. Had a good training session today. You guys saw the blog. Do you ever do Greek yogurt mixed with protein powder? Yes, and I have taken pictures of it on social media. People do still use, do they really? I thought everyone just cites gear. Even Greg Valentino 20 years back claimed he got all of that from just citing massive amounts of EQ. Keeping in mind EQ is 50 grams a milliliter, the stuff he was getting back then. You used to get those 50 milliliter bottles of it. That Russian synthol kid was not using synthol. He was using, I think he was injecting Vaseline. PMMA is is his own thing. But yeah, a lot of guys do that. So for those who want to know what PMMA looks like, that's what Rich Piana used in his arms and shoulders. So that's PMMA for those who are unaware of what it looks like. Rich Piana had inches of that stuff in his arms and ducts. Notice that it didn't move because it's outside the muscle. So it's the collagen is injected and inserted over the muscle, injected repeatedly, hundreds and hundreds of injections. I still know some people are fanboys of Rich Piana. I have no idea either. I mean, because he was out there and he was extreme and he was an early YouTuber, so there weren't as many people there. And he put on a show for them. I mean, it was like a circus. People are not always on here for information. They want a circus. Most of the people are not here doing what I do, of just giving tons of information. Hey, Chris, it's because most of those subs are from years and years ago. Keeping in mind, I hit 100,000 followers over 10 years ago. So kind of do the math. A lot of people just fall off over time. And I don't do as much drama content. I went to 99% informative content. Rich Piana was pretty charismatic. Yeah, he made a lot of decent money with his shtick. Like Cali Muscle and that weird hypey bud and prison food he would make. Yep, that was a different era. And there was not that many people on here back then. So stuff that stood out kind of got there. George, I've done whole opinions videos on GLP. It's way too much to cover in a live stream. It's a 5 to 10 minute conversation. I mean, I do have whole videos on Ozempic though. Like if you do a channel search, I've discussed it quite a bit. But to just ask what's my opinion, you're looking at like a 5 to 10 minute answer. Like CT Fletcher, BioGrow, yeah. Was Rich really a down to earth guy? I don't know about that. It was way, way easier to grow an audience. Just a sheer like there was no competition, so anyone with a stick was in. I remember watching your videos where you talked about all those guys. Yep. And they went down the road having those heart attacks. Like clockwork. I mean, how many people's deaths did I predict? Now, Cali Muscle didn't actually die, but he almost died. But man, Dallas McCarver, Rich Piana, Austin Lloyd, Jerry Ward. I predicted all of their deaths ahead of time. I predicted Cali Muscles and he survived it. Dallas McCarver, yeah, I actually discussed that in the video. That was me who broke that down. Yeah, Dallas McCarver had a test level that was around 100 times in the middle normal range. So he was on about 10 grams. No, I did not predict Leo's death, actually. I would trust Rich. You would trust Rich Piana with your girl? She's going to come back with a broke nose and a black eye. Rich Piana was known for hitting every woman he was ever with. That was his reputation. Like, he loved beating the holy hell out of women. So your girl going to come back with a broke nose. No, Dallas McCarver made it right about where we expected. Like his death was right inside a few months window of my prediction. So it wasn't like us right about what we expected. Hey, Janoi, you can't even get the story right. Hey, Janoi, you claim to follow this stuff and then you ask specific questions, but then you get the numbers wrong. I never once said that I talked to the second ex on the phone. I said I talked to her on Messenger. I mean, you're getting the details wrong. I know what I said because it was actually a true story, so there's no fabrication. So then you're getting it mixed up. Yeah, she told me in voice messages he beat the holy hell out of her many times. The third one told me over a phone call. All right. What do you mean? It was documented. Atomic, it was documented even when he was alive. It was talked about heavily. What are your top 3 favorite physiques that are actually natty? I don't know. Who on YouTube do you think actually puts out good information on training and peds? I don't know. Myself, I don't know. I mean, Nifford's not too bad. Probably a few others out there. I mean, I can't keep up with everybody. No, he wasn't threatening. He was beating her during the recording, actually. That's what the police report said. That recording happened while he was hitting her. I mean, she had broke ribs and a broken nose from it. So, no, I didn't predict Big Honey's death. I don't think. I didn't really discuss Big Honey. I may have, but I don't think that I did. So I don't want to claim something that I may not have done, but I don't think that would have been a serious prediction like everyone. I think everyone saw that coming, unfortunately. Yep, I remember the Jeff Cavalier fake weight scandal. Yep, I was on top of that. I've already did a fake natty on Jesse James West. He's fake natty. Jeff faked the 500 deadlift. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He faked that 315 pen bench too, using the same plates. Hey, Matt, I would need to go back and double check. I don't remember what he looks like. I literally went and checked his stuff out and did it. Hey, Saint, because one, I don't want to ever do that line of work again. It's horrible. I hated it. I only did it because it paid decent money. Are you asking why did I not return to it? It's obvious that I got sick and spent a year in bed. I mean, I had a different job with the same corporation, and then I got sick and literally spent a year in bed sick. So that kind of interferes with your career in general. But no, I was trying to move up in the company and through management and not be out in the field doing that stuff. Like, that's not like fun work that you're going to enjoy. Like, it's dangerous work. It's crappy work. You get hazard pay and things. No, Vanilla, I haven't checked any of it out. Jeff could only deadlift 425 with bad form. Yep. William says, hey, Jason, what's up, William? Do you currently take meds for Meniere's? No. Is being a coach the best job you ever had? Yes. Jason, do you mention the OnlyFans gig to girls? Every chick I know knows that I have an OnlyFans. All of my female friends know that I have an OnlyFans. All of them are extremely supportive. Is Jesse J? I don't know. If Kennebody actually trained his legs properly, he'd have to be pretty dang strong on his lower body. Probably. So whoever this just look at yourself retracted something, I'm just going to assume he's a troll without seeing it. Hey, Chris, why would you be embarrassed about it? See, that's the point. You're embarrassed. I'm not. Jason, is 10 milligrams THC? I don't know. I don't know enough about THC to answer the question. What age did stop doing that line of work? Can I guesstimate, or do you need an exact age? Can I be off by a year? Can I give it plus or minus? I want to say 28. Don't hold me to it. So if you were to find my tax record somehow and be like, oh, he lied, he's off by a year, like, so give or take 28. I mean, why are guys so afraid to train legs? Is it just laziness? They're lazy as fuck. Every single girl I know has been supportive of it. Hey, Matt, no one's going to offer me $10,000, so why are you asking silly questions? Matt, do you have the $10,000? So where's the 10 grand? So I always tell people when they throw these hypotheticals, show me the money, then we'll discuss the hypothetical. I don't do hypotheticals like that if you don't have the money. Okay. Thoughts on Penn Good Mornings? I think Penn Good Mornings are legit. Joseph's right. Someone gives me $10,000. Right. They just want to meet me for 10 grand. I mean, that's a good point. Yes, I'd probably meet anybody for $10,000 up front. No, I'm not doing any collabs with other dudes on OnlyFans, Jordan. Coach, any of the husbands of the wives get jelly of the OnlyFans? I don't care. Not my problem. Yes, I've had a friend whose husband got jelly of me. It's not my problem. If I'm not banging your wife, you have no reason to be that way. Quit being a bitch. All right. Never needed to do good mornings. Is it like deadlifts? Good mornings are great. I've discussed them at length. My favorite good morning is SSB depends. That's a tough one. I wouldn't pay 10 bucks to meet anyone, right? Hey, Chris, well, do you have any women who are willing to offer it? So, Chris, you're asking me a question. So, do you have a specific woman who you know who says she wants to collab with me? So, there's your answer, because I don't know one offering either. So, if you know one who wants to collab with me and she looks good, let me know. But otherwise, you have your answer. Well, because I don't know any attractive women who've offered to collab with me. I mean, that's a pretty straightforward answer. And just because women have slept with me doesn't mean they want to be on camera having sex with me. Keep that in mind. Alex Chevy was a good morning after. Yeah, a lot of old school lifters were. Coach, I don't have a service that helps you communicate with other creators. Not that I know of. All right. Would you penetrate a woman on OnlyFans? Bro, I would penetrate a woman off of OnlyFans. You tell me I could make money doing something I would already do? What sort of goofball question is that, homie? How much would it cost to have you rate my training program? Consultations are $100. Did you see that Alex converted to Shia Islam? Do we have a link to that? People have said that, but I have never seen any proof. Is a slingshot a good bench tool? I'm not a fan. Hey, Matt, different women like different things. Why do you think all women like the same things? And you ask silly stuff like that. Come on. Alex should move to Iran. I think he said, yeah, I assume he's talking about Alex Leonidas. 20 pounds gained in muscle is not going to be an only a 10% strength boost either. How low of an attractiveness 1 to 10 scale would you be willing to collab with a chick on OnlyFans? 5 to 6. That's true. He's an even bigger con, right? Hey, Jordan, because they're a waste of time. Who trains better, Strap-on or Frenchie? Strap-on's training is dramatically better than Frenchie's. To be fair, Alex actually knows a decent amount about training. It's not like his training these days isn't pretty good. He still does some goofball, silly stuff with straps and things. That's the problem. But his overall training philosophy is actually pretty good. Keep in mind, a lot of his base information came from my channel. If you recall, he used to be in my comments every single day. Having back angle parallel to the ground on good morning is a good idea. I'm capable of doing it much more than my body weight. Depends on what's going on with your leverages and the relative weight and everything. Potentially, it can be fine. About to test my true deadlift and killing good mornings completely fasted for Ramadan. Be careful with that max, with that fasting like that. Yeah, at least Alex is strong and H is weak AF, and that's the point. Well, William, I guess it depends on how cold it is. Have you done racks above the knee for grip strength? No. Jason, why is GVS so defensible? Maybe because he lives in a country where he could be executed potentially for the drug laws. Alan, I feel that most of my girlfriends have been definitely above average. I'm not going to necessarily add numbers. And y'all can disagree. That's your opinion. Would you ever consider doing a boot camp with a client? No. Whose training is worse, GVS or NH? I don't know. Why are we taking two people whose training is not that good and comparing them? Any deadlift is good for a 70-year-old woman. So, I mean, sure, 90 pounds is solid. GVS lives in China. The backstory is he met a Chinese girl, married her, and he's immigrated there for now. So he lives in China. So can you see why he gets really defensive about being accused of illegal drugs? He's in China, dude. You have any YouTube channels about health? Not that I can think of. No, not off the top of my head. Maybe find one that's run by a medical doctor who's not into really fringe stuff. Well, apparently he married a Chinese woman and decided to live there instead of getting her out of China. He might be one of those passport bros, yeah. Jason, can you debate GVS? Does he want to debate me? Coach, would you feel bad if GVS was served life in prison because the government? No, why is he living in communist China anyways? Like, dude, I don't care how hot a girl is. I don't care how good that pussy is. You don't move to China for her. You get her out of China. So, no, he wants to go live in that crazy country and then chooses, knowing how crazy their laws are, chooses to do gear there just so he can do his YouTube career. Then you know what I mean? It's like, dude, don't go live in a country like that and then use a bunch of gear to do your internet career. Maybe go live in a different country. It's not like he was born there. He had choices. He chose to move to that country, knowing what could happen. Would you ever standing over press as you owe me the upper lift? I have done it and I've prescribed it. What's your age? I'm 48. Jason, which noble natties have the highest chance of getting violated in prison? Definitely Frenchie. Who is your favorite natural physique? Don't know, don't care. No, he uses test in his triceps. Nope, I don't think he uses synthol. I said he's pinning his gear directly in it. When I say site enhancement, I'm usually talking about testosterone these days, bros. I can't remember you talking about sumo recently, but you think it's a good exercise for hypertrophy? Yep. Yes, I do. Hey, Yorkies, I'm about to put you in timeout again. You can tell me what this word means. Just understand that I think it's a word you made up. I'm about to put you. All right. Your next post, if you don't tell me what you think this word means, I'm gonna probably just ban you permanently because you already know you're doing it to annoy me. So your next post, you need to tell me what you believe this word means that you've made up. And if your post is anything else, I'm gonna ban you. And in fact, if you don't post it in the next 60 seconds, I'm gonna ban you anyways. Fair? All right. I'm talking to the We Need Any Yorkies. Why don't you care about natural physiques? I don't really care. Jason, could you use vegetable oil if you want serious infections? Plenty of guys do it. The Chinese comedy party's evil, and it takes a truly pervert conscious to say otherwise. I agree. Sheldon Thrall, Natty. I'd need to look into it further. I've been to the Philippines a couple times. Nothing wrong with being a passport bro. Okay, so you do know you made that up. So yeah, I was about to block you. So why can't you just say the word but instead of making up your own slang term that no one else knows? All right. No way GBS claims natural. He obviously hopped on. Yeah, he did. Hey, Canal has no way. He's not even remote. You can't possibly believe that. Do you recommend taking GH along with TRT? Depends on the person, maybe. Hey, Chad, I get rid of the trolls and the stalkers. Keep in mind, Chad, a lot of these people are literally part of my crazy little stalking ring and they make new accounts. It's not hard to single them out at this point. It's really easy, Chad. So if you don't understand what's going on, that's usually what it is. Make sense? Like these people literally harass my neighbors, my family, my exes, my grocery stores, So yeah, for a decade. You say Thrall is on that, blah, blah, blah. Jason's okay to use Cytofil. I don't know. That TNF guy, I don't know who that is. Coach, no, I'm not currently on growth. Because there aren't that many real natties actually on social media. It's not that I don't appreciate it, but you're asking me to discuss natty physiques. It's just not, I don't want to stand around and call someone natty and make that claim or not. It's too much to get into. Like, I just really don't care. Like, natural bodybuilding has never been part of bodybuilding. So unless we go back to the 50s or 40s, then everyone's enhanced in those areas. My only issue is the people scamming people with the fake natty thing. Like, I have no problem with people being on gear. I'm pro gear, Chad. I have a problem with people scamming people for it, lying about it and using it to sell garbage. It's the con artistry I've got a problem with. Where strength meets strategy. Oh my God. That sounds like some natural hypertrophy stuff. Matt, no, it's not possible to do that. Yeah, Jill, there have been a couple of them who I did have a gunpoint on the ground when they showed up at my house. Again, probably don't want to F around and find out. Probably not a good idea. Coach doesn't play around. Yeah, I took all their driver's licenses when I let them go and kept them for the police. Be showing up, knocking on my door, banging on my door at 2 in the morning. Jason, is the Mexican food good here? Dude, I live in Texas. Come on. Bro, I'm in the suburbs of Houston. There's mom and pop places here where you got literally grandpa out there cooking the fajitas on the grill in the back. All right. Does that tell you what you need to know? You got 70-year-old grandpa on a smoker cooking the fajitas back there, grilling them in some places. Is NH closeted, obviously. Is green tea good coffee alternative? I suppose. Robert William, God. Do you think if you, and probably not, if I don't think there'd be a fight. I don't really get in fights, man. There's no need. No, I'm not interested in a career in law enforcement. I just look at basement bodybuilding, another smaller natty that has 18-inch arms. Yeah, okay, fair. So Chad, let's go over. He's got a point. I gave basement bodybuilder the possibility of being natural. I looked at his training history, overall size, his numbers. So there's an example of another person who I did give the pass and say, I do believe his results are obtainable natural. They're on the extreme end, but I do think it's possible he's actually natural. Texas has the best Mexican food in this country. I do too, but here it's different. Yeah, it's Mexican food's different depending on where you go. Hey, Jill, I'm not going to answer questions about the ethnicities of women. I like beautiful women. Their ethnicity is not really a factor. A woman's beautiful or she isn't. Hey, Matt, what would you do if Nate showed up in your door with a camera? That would be a very, very, very bad mistake. What advice do you have for men with erectile dysfunction? I don't know, homie. Go talk to a doctor. Maybe lose some fat. Get your testosterone checked. You know, if you have been lifting, pinning, and talking to serious lifters, you would know the GVS is not natural, pretty much. Oh, no, I mean, just because they harass stores doesn't mean the stores are worried about me being there. Like for a store I used to go to all the time because I used to do my pictures in there, I talked to the manager about it and he said everything was cool. No big deal. But yeah, they used to call the Costco that I used to shop at by my house. Jason, you need a bull to join in. No, I would be the bull. Anyone here think I haven't investigated Tennyson. How much gear was on George Lehman to achieve that 900 deadlift on a lot? Hefty amount. Yeah, vagina's banned. Have you ever tried? Okay, so you're talking about dealing with gear. Yeah, I give advice for that. But that we're over at client or consultation level. We're not at me doing all that. Pretty strange in NH never he masked his identity. Who is Vegeta? They're talking about vagina, old school. He's a weirdo who's obsessed with me, who makes videos. All right. Jason, do you offer bodybuilding programs? Yes, I coach some bodybuilders. Robert asked, what's a bull? Well, Robert, when a man loves a woman, and sometimes that woman needs a little bit more loving, she brings in a bigger, stronger male with a bigger penor, and the other guy watches as he loves her. And that's called a bull. Man, you guys need to Google this stuff a little more. Mind asking how much you charge for a plan. You would have to do, so if you want full coaching is $250 a month. If you want to do a consultation call with me, the hour calls are $100, and I will map out a program Yeah, my prices are all public. My consultation prices are public. My coaching stuff's all public. It's all in the stickies. It's all in the posts on all my social media. I post about it here on the community tab. It's all public. But if you need me to, so if let's say you wanted a bodybuilding program, you don't want coaching, you hire me for a call. I get in like a messenger or Skype call with you for an hour. We go over everything that you need, and I break down a basic program for you during that hour. Right? I don't write anything down though in those calls. I go over it with you, and you take notes, and we map out a program for you as needed. If you don't want direct coaching, like one-on-one coaching month to month. Jason, would you do bondage? Yeah, I've done Dom stuff before. I've had an ex who was into that, and she was a sub. So GBS, Robert, I'm well versed in all the kinks and fetishes that are out there. I'm a pretty open-minded person. GBS and Fitness Factor are all tall and have great genetics. That's something strap-on basement. Yeah. Jason, at what age will you switch to only calisthenics? I won't. I'll probably be lifting until the day I die. Care to comment? Really? Because I do conjugate most of the time and rotate back to it. We all rotate through programming over the decades. It's normal. But notice I tend to go back to conjugate for very long periods of time. RPK, I mean, there's a whole psychology of that. Actually, if you really want to answer to that question, you could go down a whole rabbit hole reading what psychologists think about it, the sex psychology behind it. You can find the men who enjoy it, the women. There, you could read 100 pages about it right now. If you really want to go down that rabbit hole, it's all out there. I have been asked to be a bull before. I hired Louis Markin once for coaching, but it won't work. He probably won't. I work with people on gear. Jason, you'll be squatting 500 at age 80, I hope. I hired Ian McCarthy for coaching, but he scammed. Did he really? I'm sorry to hear that. How much did your amp cost? That one, it's like a $300 amp. It's not that much. That's a budget, Marshall. Eventually, you get to some tube amps. Hey, TY, I'm not going to discuss that with you, dude. That's a whole topic of obsession by my stalkers. So I'm just not going to go there. Man, we are past the hour, though. I have a possible call coming up. I have a client who wanted to call, and he didn't get back with me if that time's going to work. But I'm about to wind this down. So I hope it's been informative. I love all you guys and gals, and I will talk to you next time. Let me give you guys a bicep shot before we go. Oh, how bicepious.